All right, folks. How many mornings have you woken up and struggled to even find a reason to get out of bed? Or maybe you've looked in the mirror and felt like a stranger staring back. Perhaps that moment when you realized even lifting the simplest thing had become a challenge. Well, that's exactly where I want to talk about 5 fundamental things many of us overlook, but that are actually key to a long and healthy life. These aren't complicated, unattainable feats. On the contrary, they're simple steps we might have stopped doing without even realizing it, and whose absence we feel acutely in our quality of life. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share with you 5 seemingly ordinary things that only about 5% of people over the age of 70 can still do, but when you do them, they incredibly improve your lifespan and health. These 5 points define that fine line between independence and needing help, between vitality and decline. Now I ask you, do you want to be in the 95% who can't, or in that rare 5% who still can? Remember, aging isn't just about the calendar moving forward. It's a result of the choices we make every single day. If you think your body just falls apart because another year goes by, you're underestimating the power of responsibility and discipline to transform your life's path. That kind of thinking, that resignation, is the beginning of decay, not age itself. Now, what are these miraculous 5 things? We'll go through them one by one in a moment, but keep in mind, each one you hear might surprise you a little more than the last. You might think, is that all? For the first one, for the second, you might think it should be a little more impressive. But the third, well, that's where things start to shift. The fourth will deeply affect you, and the fifth will change your entire perspective. Definitely don't miss that 5th point, because it holds perhaps the most crucial key to a long and healthy life. So, let's take a look at what these 5 fundamental pillars are. Being able to stand up on the floor without using your hands. This sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Maybe you even want to get up from your chair right now and try it. But be honest. When was the last time you sat down on the floor and stood back up using only the strength of your legs, without any help from your hands? This action is actually an incredibly powerful indicator of your physical health. We take it so for granted in our daily lives that we only realize the gravity of not being able to do it when that moment arrives. Being able to sit and rise from the floor without assistance isn't just about muscle strength. It also shows your balance, coordination, and how well your nervous system communicates with your musculoskeletal system. It tests the mobility of your hips, knees, and ankles, the strength of your core and back muscles, and even the efficiency of your cardiovascular system all at once. Research shows that people who can perform this basic movement unassisted tend to live much longer and healthier lives compared to those who can't. In fact, one study found that individuals who failed this test were 5 to 6 times more likely to die within the next 6 years than those who could do it successfully. That's not just a coincidence. It's a clear cause and effect. When your body loses the ability to execute primal movements, it signals the beginning of the end. But there's hope. Neuroplasticity doesn't disappear with age. Muscles continue to respond to resistance, and the nervous system can be retrained. Just like you train for a marathon, you can practice the movement of standing up from the floor slowly, repeatedly, with focus and intention. It will pay off. For a longer and healthier life, reestablish your relationship with the ground. Don't be afraid to get down there, because it's your proving ground. It shows you whether your body is still serving you or has started to abandon ship. If you've read this point, type 1 in the comments. Being able to walk briskly for 30 minutes without stopping. We walk a lot during the day, don't we? Maybe to the grocery store, to a neighbor's house, or just around the house. But what we're talking about here isn't a leisurely stroll. It's a continuous 30-minute walk at a brisk pace that slightly increases your heart rate and breathing. This simple activity is actually a complex and crucial measure of your health, vitality, and future. Being able to walk continuously at a moderate to brisk pace for a half an hour isn't just about getting from one place to another. It's a sign of being able to stay physically and mentally active well into your later years. Brisk walking engages your entire cardiovascular system. Your heart beats faster, your lungs expand more deeply, and your circulation improves. This rhythmic, repetitive motion boosts oxygen delivery to every cell in your body, including your brain. It sharpens cognitive function, stabilizes your mood, and reduces the risk of degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. In fact, some of the most compelling research on brain health in seniors points to consistent walking as a key intervention, often more effective than medication. But walking isn't just about endurance. It also involves your posture, balance, rhythm, and muscular coordination. A body that can walk for 30 minutes without complaint is a body that still moves efficiently. Every step is essentially a control fall. One foot lifts, your body weight shifts, and the other foot catches you. This requires subtle strength, coordination, and a type of neuromuscular intelligence that declines when not used regularly. And when that goes, what follows isn't just slower walking. It falls, isolation, and hospitalizations. The real power of walking lies in its simplicity. You don't need a gym, a trainer, or a perfect body. All you need is discipline, a commitment to carve out that time daily, regardless of the weather or your mood. Because those 30 minutes are an investment, a compound interest strategy for your future self. And for people over 70, it's one of the few movements that can be performed safely and often, with massive upside and minimal risk. The irony is that walking feels easy until you can't do it anymore. And by the time it becomes difficult, the damage has often already been done. So, the time to act is before the struggle begins. Build this habit now. Train your capacity and create a buffer of resilience in your legs, your lungs, your life. Because walking isn't just about staying mobile, it's about staying human. Being able to lift something that weighs at least 20 pounds. 20 pounds! That's roughly the weight of a bag of groceries, a toddler, a small suitcase, or a household chore that needs doing. It's not a heroic lift. It's a foundational one. Yet, for many people over 70, this basic strength quietly slips away, leaving behind dependence, frustration, and a growing sense of frailty. Strength isn't optional as you age. It's essential. Muscle isn't just tissue. It's a reservoir of vitality. When you lose it, your metabolism slows down, your bones weaken, your balance falters, and your risk of injury skyrockets. Muscle protects you. It stabilizes your joints, cushions your bones, and literally keeps you on your feet. If you can't lift 20 pounds today, what happens when you need to catch yourself in a fall, push yourself up off the floor, or carry something important up a flight of stairs? That lack of ability isn't just inconvenient. It's dangerous. But what's even more important is that strength can be built at any age. Muscle fibers respond to resistance. Your body, even in your 70s or beyond, is still capable of adaptation. The process might be slower, recovery might be different, but the potential is still there, waiting to be activated. This isn't about lifting heavy weights for the sake of ego. It's about reclaiming your usefulness. It's about having the ability to contribute, to serve, to function independently. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you regain strength. You start to feel less fragile, less anxious. Strength builds confidence. It instills a sense of control, and that matters immensely because when you feel capable physically, it ripples into your mental and emotional health. You don't see yourself as someone who's falling apart. You see yourself as someone who's still in the game. So, lifting 20 pounds isn't just about the weight itself. It's about what it represents: capacity, resilience, freedom. And the best part is, it's within reach. You can train for it. You can earn it back. You don't need to accept weakness as your default state. You can fight for your strength. And in doing so, you fight for your life. Being able to balance on one foot for 10 seconds. Balancing on one foot for 10 seconds might seem laughably simple until you try it and realize how much is happening beneath the surface. This small test reveals a lot more than it seems. It's not about athleticism. It's about integration. Your muscles, joints, eyes, ears, and brain all have to work together seamlessly. When they don't, your body wobbles, and in those wobbles is a silent warning. Something is starting to slip. Balance isn't just a physical skill. It's a neurological one. It's a reflection of how well your brain is managing your body in space. Your inner ear, your cerebellum, your proprioceptive feedback system. They're all coordinating in real time to keep you upright. When your ability to balance declines, it's not just your legs getting weaker. It might be your nervous system showing early signs of disconnection or cognitive aging. That makes this test a surprisingly strong predictor of both physical health and even neurological decline. For seniors, the consequences of poor balance are profound. Falls are the number one cause of injury deaths in older adults. They break hips, cause traumatic brain injuries, and often start a cascade of hospital visits, surgeries, and long-term care. But it doesn't begin with a fall. It begins with instability that slowly creeps in until one small misstep changes everything. The good news is that this kind of decline is not inevitable. Balance is a trainable skill. Practicing balance isn't about standing on a tightrope. It's about rebuilding the foundation of your movement system. Exercises that strengthen the feet, the core, the hips, and even the eyes and neck contribute to better control. The more you practice, the more the nervous system learns. Neural pathways can be retrained, muscles can be retrained, and with consistency, what was once shaky becomes steady. There's also a deeper metaphor here. Balance is about control under pressure. It's about maintaining composure when everything around you is shifting. As you age, life throws more at you, physically, emotionally, existentially. The ability to remain upright, to center yourself both literally and figuratively, becomes a symbol of resilience. So, when you stand on one foot, you're not just testing your stability. You're reclaiming your coordination, your independence, and your confidence. 10 seconds may be short, but they can reveal a lifetime's worth of potential. If you've read this point, type 2 in the comments. Waking up every morning with a reason to live. Here we are at that most important point. Waking up every morning with a reason to live. This might be the most powerful factor in determining how well you age and how long you live. While physical health is often the focus of longevity discussions, purpose is the force that animates it. It's the internal compass that tells you there's still something meaningful to be done, something worth facing the day for. Without it, no amount of muscle, balance, or mobility will be enough to keep you truly alive. The presence of purpose activates systems in the brain and body that support resilience. Studies have shown that older adults who report a strong sense of purpose have lower rates of heart disease, depression, stroke, and even Alzheimer's. They sleep better, they recover from illness faster, and they're more likely to engage in health-promoting behaviors like exercise and social connection. In other words, having a reason to live doesn't just feel good. It translates into real, measurable outcomes in your body. But what does purpose look like after 70? It's not always about grand ambition or productivity. Sometimes it's about being there for a loved one, sharing wisdom with the next generation, caring for a pet, volunteering, creating something, telling stories. Purpose doesn't have to be loud. It has to be yours. It's the thread that pulls you out of bed even when your joints ache and the world feels heavy. It's what gives structure to your time and meaning to your actions. Aging without purpose often leads to stagnation, isolation, and a subtle, dangerous form of decay. The days blur, motivation wanes, and the mind, unchallenged and unengaged, begins to fold inward. But when you're anchored in something larger than yourself, something outside your immediate pleasure or comfort, you stay in motion, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That movement is life. The real power of purpose is that it's not handed to you. You choose it, you define it. No matter your age, you can decide that your life still matters, still carries weight. That decision shapes your identity and ignites your will. It gives context to your efforts and turns survival into living. When everything else starts to slow down, purpose is the internal fire that says, "Not yet. I've still got work to do." Because when you know why you're waking up, the how becomes a lot easier. So there you have it. Folks, the secret to a long and healthy life is actually this simple. By incorporating these 5 fundamental steps into your life, you can join that rare 5% and dramatically improve your quality of life. Remember, aging is inevitable, but healthy aging is in your hands. Now, I ask you, which of these 5 points resonated with you the most? In which area do you feel you need to improve? Share your thoughts with us in the comment below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to share this valuable information with more people. Because we're stronger together, and by supporting each other, we can lead healthier and happier lives. Remember, small steps create big changes. Until our next video, stay healthy.